Every once in a while, I feel as if an artist writes an album specifically for me. And I always am like, oh my guys, not a lot of people are going to like this because only I like this. And that's happened a lot, where I'm listening to an album, I'm like, I love this record. This record is so friggin' good. I feel like not a whole lot of people are actually going to like this record. So anyway, let's dive in.
Take a look at my shiny collection, all in with no more.
From Above by Lunear. So I believe that's how you pronounce it, Lunear. I was introduced from them after they reached out to me back in like 2020, maybe even a little bit earlier from that. They put out Many Miles Away in 2018 and Curve Axis Symmetry from 2020. I actually really, really enjoy Curve Axis Symmetry. They put out another album in 2022 of, I want to say it's pronounced Gosh Tracks. I think that's how you pronounce it, Gosh Tracks. I wasn't all that excited for that one. I mean, it was fine, but it didn't kind of reach that same heights that Curve Axis Symmetry did. So now we come to From Above. And the overall flavor of Lunear's music is kind of that retro prog, symphonic prog kind of stuff that we would get with kind of like a lot of the bands that we would get from like 2015, 2016, all the way into about now. There's definitely some really passionate musicianship. There's this outpouring of flavors within that symphonic soundscapes. But I always felt as if they were kind of chasing trends rather than setting them. And to a certain extent, the same can be found on this one, although the trend that they're chasing is very, very tasty. So what do I love about this record? First off, it's the length and the structure. We've got 5 tracks across 50 minutes, starting us off with a 25-minute epic. And the big epic, In Your Eyes, the starter track, goes through a lot of ebb and flow, and I really particularly love that. Each passage feels very earned, feels very cohesive. The transitions from one sequence to another is very well thought out and very well put, and the crescendo that we have at the end is very well earned. I really love where this track goes, and it's very interesting because when you compare it to the second half of the album, which has 3 tracks, 2 in the 9:45-minute sequence and 1 at the 4:30, kind of like those 3 tracks a little bit better than the big 25-minute one. Cathedral, So Let's Go, and Nostalgia. Each of these 3 tracks take on a different emotion and really dive deep into that. And it is funny because I find So Let's Go has this energy about it. It's the shortest track at 4 minutes and 30 seconds that it's got this big punch of emotion. It's a little bit more on the passionate side. It's definitely the emotion that it's emoting on here is that passion. And I particularly love it. I love the emotion. I love the drive. I love how it's able to distill this singularity and just bring it forth. I really appreciate that. I did jump over Cathedral because I wanted to get So Let's Go out of the way. Cathedral is a little bit more on yearning. It's a little bit more on kind of like thinking and thinking about moving forward. You've got this I want, and it's that I want forward, and it has that same kind of like melodramatic flair that a lot of neo-prog aspects have, without it being like blow down the doors, intense and aggressive that sometimes neo-prog can have. It's a little bit more subdued and a little bit more constrained in that sense. And Nostalgia, very appropriately, is that looking back, it's reminiscing, it's thinking about what came before, and I really appreciate that kind of landscape that we have on there. And the music is very melancholy in that sense. It takes a little bit of time for things to work up and get going, but once it does, there's this explosion, there's this crescendo that I really like. Like, this is a very neo-prog track in that it has that build up, that melodrama that's kind of bringing things forward that are then realized, and you have this soaring guitar work, this melodramatic keyboard work and synths that are kind of padding things around it, that brings itself to a really satisfying and really earned ending point. So yeah, overall, I have been loving this record. And it's very interesting that In Your Eyes, the big 25-minute track, is the one that I return to the least amount, even though like I still love it. You know, it's got that, as I mentioned, the big crescendo at the end, the playing from one side to another that I wish more epics were doing. We haven't had a whole lot of big epics within the retro side of prog, and I wish we had more tracks like this. I'm still yearning for that big, epic, meaty crescendo that I haven't heard quite yet this year, but I think this is as close as we've gotten. So honestly, this is a great time and one that I would recommend to all prog lovers. You know, you can still tell that these guys are fairly independent. You know, you can still tell that these guys are drumming to their own beat. You know, they don't have that kind of producer in the wings being like, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. They are just doing their own thing, and I really appreciate it for what it is in that case. So yeah, this is a recommendation. I would go and check this one out. This is my favorite record now from Lunear. Again, I'm pretty sure they made this one specifically for me, and I think you guys will love it too. This is very clearly their most proggy work to date, and I highly, highly love that. So yeah, if you're looking for a little bit more of an atmospheric vibe, low tempo, low stakes kind of a prog record, this one's for you. So in the end, I will say From Above by Lunear is one that I would absolutely pick up in physical format. Check this one out. It comes out May 17th, so I'm a little bit ahead of the curve in that one. But when it drops, highly recommend checking this one out. You know, I think you'll really, really enjoy this one. So yeah, that's what I've got for Lunear's From Above. What did you guys think about this record? Have a listen to it. Let me know. And let me know if you loved it, if you hated it, by commenting down below. That's all I got for you guys today. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.